I'm gonna go on a very cancelable rant today. We're gonna transition into a very cancelable rant. I'm ready to get clipped, and shipped and go viral. I kind of need the attention. I'm just kidding. I do want to go on a cancelable rant right now, though, because I was thinking about it in the shower. So I'm gonna just lay it on you, and then I'm gonna explain myself. But first, I'm gonna lay it on you. The problem with communism in America is that it's not patriarchal. We need a communist patriarchy. Go ahead, I'm not trolling. We need a communist patriarchy. Now, what do I mean by that? I'll go ahead and explain. But I want some time for it to be clipped and shipped on Twitter before I explain myself. I want it to go viral on Twitter first. What do I mean by patriarchy? Well, I want to give you an idea of the American leftist and so-called communist community in the US, and also beyond the US. This is what's emerging in Russia and in Eastern European countries, and it's emerging in England. It's emerging elsewhere. The crisis we're facing is that communism lacks a patriarchal foundation. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people sometimes ask me, Haas, why is your community mostly male? Why isn't it 50% women, 50% male? You know what I say? That ain't my fucking problem. I don't think I want us to be 50-50 at this stage. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. I'd welcome it. I wouldn't try to clamp down on it. I just don't think it would be a good sign. And I'll tell you why I don't think it's a good sign. And this is very cancelable, very forbidden, very dark, esoteric knowledge. I think a good proportion is 70-30 or 80-20. We're not even there yet. We're 95-5. But 50-50? Nah, not at this stage. Now, if we ever got to be a huge mass movement of millions and millions of people, 50-50, it's not bad, right? At a level of a party, political party, 50-50 is good, right? It's good for a party, but for this shit, I'll explain it to you. I don't know why I'm doing this either, because it's literally been months since I've been accused of being a misogynist and an incel and all that kind of shit. And I'm just kind of making it worse for myself. And you know why? Because I feel like it. I'm bringing it back. I just feel like getting canceled again. First thing I want to tell you guys, and don't fucking sit here and just think I'm saying shit. So listen to me when I tell you this and think about it. In the USA, every little communist discord, every little movement, every little organization, the Maoists, whatever, MLs, you know what they are from a Freudian perspective, from a psychoanalytic perspective? They are an association of runaway children. Runaway children who banded together, and that is why there's that's the extent of the sexual equality. It's not real sexual equality. Because with children, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, you're a fucking child, right? So that's a fake veneer of equality that they have. It's a fake veneer of equality, okay? It's not true women's empowerment or women's equality, anything like that. It's a community of children. Peter Pan Maoism. But specifically, it's the runaways of Netherlands. It's the runaway children. And their entire... Can someone link me the meme? And this will make sense of it. Where, first, it's comparing the tough doge of the Russian Civil War and the Paris Commune and the Maoists. And then it's the pathetic Western communists of today. But then they have their hand on their shoulder don't worry. We got you this. We're in this together. Can someone please send me that meme? Do you know what meme I'm talking about? You guys have seen it, haven't you? Until then, I'm going to explain to you what I mean by that. And what's going on with that whole thing. You guys know those movies where the parents... I'm trying to think of what the movie was. I think it's Harry Potter. So something happens in Harry Potter where the headmasters and the teachers are not doing the right thing. So the kids stand up and they form like an organization together. And then finally Dumbledore comes and he goes, "You young people, you have done such a good job doing what's right. When the adults failed, you stood up and did what's right." You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm... this is the one. This is exactly it. This is exactly the one. So, this is it. So these are all the tough guys in history, the real communists. Communists in 2020. "We too used to be like you. And one day you will be like us. Our legacy lives in you, comrade." And this is like the shitty Antifa guy. "And we all have left you the tools you need to finish the revolution and bring about the final victory of the world." So this is children, right? It's a community of runaway children. And specifically what we're talking about is the community of runaway children of the Democrats and the liberals, specifically after Trump got elected. "The adults are letting us down, so we kids are gonna band together and do the right thing." So that's why you see this fake, like, "Oh yeah, we're feminist comrades, and like we have women, we have men." Yeah, because you're children. You don't have this sexual equality of adults. That's something much harder to accomplish. You have the equality of boys and girls, which children and girls, they're not distinguishable. You're a boy, you're a girl. It's the same shit. You're a child, right? You're not an adult. Only when you're an adult does sexuality become relevant. Before you're an adult, you're either a child or you're an adolescent, but you're a child, right? You know, for the most part, you're a child, right? You're not an adult. That much can be certain, right? So it's almost like what we have is a version of Minions communism. Minions communism, where there's no, from a psychoanalytic perspective, the Oedipal complex is being forestalled. It's delayed development. It's Minions communism. That's what you see on Twitter. And by the way, that's how we would have a Discord of like 50% men, 50% women. Okay, it'd be like Minions communism. Alright guys, we're all cute here and we're just like in this androgynous kind of thing where it's like you're children basically, right? Now what makes this a problem specifically? I'd have to explain some stuff about psychoanalysis first, so I'll explain it to you. In psychoanalysis, there's the term that Lacan comes up with, and the term is called the name of the father. And if you know anything about Shakespeare, you know about Hamlet. In Hamlet, the ghost of Hamlet's father comes and haunts him. And that's like a profound source of compulsion, right? When an enemy invades your country, it's the voice of the father that impels you to take up arms and defend your homeland, right? When Soviet soldiers were fighting the Germans, they would shout the name of the father. Who is the father? Stalin. The father Stalin, right? Because it's through the father that you defend the motherland, right? Father represents defense of everything sacred, everything prohibited, right? That's why the root word of both patriarchy and patriotism are the same. The patria, right? The patria, right? So, what do I really mean by patriarchal communism, right? That's what we're going to have a deep dive and explore a little bit, because I want to talk about this. First of all, so Hans, are you against women fighting the patriarchy? No, I don't care if they want to fight the patriarchy or not, because what does that have to do with me? Nothing, right? All I will insist upon is the fact that there is not one patriarchy. So when you're fighting the so-called patriarchy, you're fighting the patriarchy of the existing status quo in the existing American state. Well, no, we need our own patriarchy. And maybe you can fight our patriarchy, but we're not going to submit. We communist men are going to have this thing where we accept the manhood of those in power? No, we're our own fucking men. Okay? We have our own patriarchy. And if you want to talk about equality or whatever, you deal with it within ours, right? And that's actually how you get real respect between men and women. Is you have to first acknowledge you don't just deny all sexual realities and be like, we're minions and we're all the same and we're all so cute. You're children then. You're not actually subverting anything. You're still taking the father for granted. Your father's not my father. My father is Stalin. My father is Stalin. My father is Marx and Engels. Your father is Joe Biden. So when you rebel against your father, that's still your fucking daddy. That's still your fucking father. You understand? Do you guys understand where I'm getting at with this? Communism in America is specifically a group of children who have ran away from their parents and have decided to form a community together that simulates a society, that simulates politics, that simulates what the adults are doing, but never actually challenges or disturbs or replaces the patriarchal power of the society. Yes, like the Lost Boys of Peter Pan or Neverland. Communist LARPers and organizations in America merely try to replicate. They don't actually touch to the patriarchal source of what glues the society together. They are children making a make-believe society that's one big type of cute rebellion against the parents. Children do this all the time. They have a lemonade stand. They create alternative societies where there's a mayor and there's a police. Now you just up the scale a little bit and then it's the same thing but with just more resources and shit behind it, right? No, don't misunderstand me, because do communists believe in equal rights for women and respect and all that kind of stuff? Of course. But why must there be a communist patriarchy? I'm going to explain it to you. So these runaway children have ran away from their parents because they have been let down by their father, so to speak. Their proverbial father has let them down and has disappointed them. So, could a communist patriarch be a woman? Yes. I'll get to that. Potentially, yes. There's no reason for this not to be possible. Nothing here is directly literal. We're not actually talking about the rule of men for men's sake. We're talking about something much deeper. Like Rosa Luxemburg, she is a kind of patriarch. Felix Dzerzhinsky, the head of the Soviet Cheka, he had a photo of Rosa Luxemburg, who was a sacred name of the father for him and many other communists, hanging up in his office. Because when he thinks of Rosa, he thinks of the patriarch, the name of the father. Just don't beautify it and do it for its own sake. But yeah, of course it's possible. Why not? But when you do it for its own sake and you start to take enjoyment of the fact that they're women, you're like, oh, and you think it's like subversive, then you're making it into a perversion, right? Smoke, that's not true. That's not true. Women don't even care about politics. That's not true. That's not true. Thank you, dictator. Women care about politics, but they have to maneuver the patriarchal stuff, right? So-called patriarchal stuff to have a platform. Because it's true, we don't have an equal relation. Women are intimidated. They're don't have confidence and stuff and so on and so on. So many need male validation in order to give voice to their opinion and their expression and so on and so on. And of course, communists have a special way of fostering a different culture. But before you do that, you need a communist patriarchy. So what do I mean by communist patriarchy?